What's up, Shane? It's me again. I just rebooted my computer and cut out some of the programs that were running in the background, and I changed it to 25 frames per second versus 30 frames per second. So I love being aggravated while I'm doing these things. Have I ever told you that I stopped doing my live radio show because I got sick of technology? All right. So let's take it from the top. Let's take it from my story. So I've already talked about the analogies, the inputs, the outputs, and then I'm going to share some stories. And then we're going to go into the recommendations. Okay. All right. So, and cut. So if you guys have been following me for any great length of time, you guys know my story. I started off really challenged in my life. I didn't think that I had the intelligence, the smarts, the ability to really achieve much in life. I grew up being called stupid. I grew up being told exactly what to do. I grew up being made fun of, picked on, bullied. And then I was homeless at the age of 13. Had to drop out of the 7th grade. Never went back to school until I was 18. So, and during those times of struggle and everything, substance abuse and things of that nature, and being around the wrong kind of people, I had to dramatically change what was going in here to change what was going to come out of my life. Otherwise, the expectation was that I was either going to be dead or in jail, right? So those were the two outcomes that I had to recognize. And if it wasn't for the fact of, like I said before in one of my earlier podcasts about my story, it wasn't for the fact that people believed in me and gave me different opportunities to change what I was putting into my brain, I probably would have achieved one of those results. I would have been dead or in jail. Fortunately, I'm still here and I'm still rocking it. But when we think about the conditioning, we think about all that stuff that's gone into us, we have to change our story. We have to change what it is that we're saying to ourselves, what we're believing about ourselves, what we're focusing on. Otherwise, we will continue to get those same results. And what it really is going to amount to is you're going to have a life of regrets. You're going to look back on your life. You're going to be pissed off that you let other people's opinions form your outcome. You're going to be regretting the fact that you didn't make stronger decisions earlier on in your life to change what was going on. And that's what I'm going to get into right now. I want to get into the recommendations of what you can do. And let's just dive right into it. Obviously, the number one thing for me, at least, I see that people are doing wrong is the words they're saying to themselves, right? Negative self-talk. It blows my mind in some respects, in some respects it doesn't. How many people say, oh, I can't do that, Chris, or I've never been able to do that, Chris, or I've tried that, Chris, and it didn't work. Oh yeah, I just don't know what to do, right? So let me talk about the different types of words. Let me just talk about the fact that when you say I can't, you're basically telling yourself I can't. Like if I sit there and say I can't do motivational speaking, I can't speak in front of people, guess what? I am going to find validation to find why I can't do that, because that's a belief in my mind. I can't do math. So of course, when I go to do math, what do? I suck at it. But why don't we change can't to will? I will do this, right? When you make a determination and a commitment to do something and you don't stop, guess what? You achieve it. Another one is want. I want this. Well, if you want something, you have to go try and get it. You have to take action. Wanting something is not going to materialize on what it is that you want to do. I want this and I want that. Well, how are you going to get it? You have to try. I'm going to try. And I have a philosophy about try also. You heard Yoda say before, there is no try. There either is that you do it or you don't. And I really, truly believe in that. But at least for the sake of this, just start trying, and being open-minded to what it is that you can accomplish is a great starting point, because that builds leverage, that builds confidence, that builds momentum, and then you want to continue on doing that. When I also talk about problems being opportunities, that is huge. If you sit there and say, oh, I've got this problem, I've got that problem, oh, everybody's got problems, and da-da-da-da. When you change your mindset to think that they are opportunities, that is magnificent. That is truly what is going to change your life. I was talking with somebody the other day and I said, those are opportunities. They're like, no, Chris, those are problems. I'm like, no, problems are bigger and deeper than that. This is an opportunity for you to learn something. This is an opportunity for you to stretch yourself. This is an opportunity for you to grow and change and challenge yourself and commit, right? Life is not easy. I've told you guys that before. When you think about the successful people in this world, what have they done? They have kicked, screamed, scratched, tried, persevered, overcome, made mistakes and failures and things of that nature, but they've learned from those. So when you think about problems, think about them as opportunities to grow, reframe that mindset and go tackle them. And of course, hope, wish, and pray. Let's just get to the bottom of that, right? That's not going to work. You have to change your perspective. Let's talk about when I am able to speak on stage, when I am able to successfully land this job, when I'm able to find the right relationship. When you put that in your mind, it becomes a possibility. But when you use that negative language on yourself, like, I can't, I've never been able to do that, you don't understand, Chris, and you come up with all those excuses, what does that do? That perpetuates the vicious cycle, right? Negative thoughts, negative actions. Then what do? We go into these short-term gratifications to mask all the pain and all the frustration. And then we hope, wish, and pray, and we play the someday game that it's going to change. And it's not going to change unless you start changing what it is that you're going to do. So one of the things I have suggested and used in my coaching clients for negative self-talk is a rubber band. A simple, plain rubber band, you put it on your wrist, and when you catch yourself saying something negative to yourself, snap that motherfucker. Snap it. Because listen, when you catch yourself doing something, that's half of the issue in becoming stronger and becoming unstoppable, is catching yourself in those moments and correcting them with what you should be doing, right? So when you catch yourself in those moments saying, oh, I can't do that, snap that motherfucker and say, you know what? I have to give myself a chance. Maybe if I do this. And that leads me to my next suggestion. The word perhaps. It's probably one of the best words I have been able to use in my life and with my coaching clients, because when you say, perhaps I'll be able to speak on stage if I get a coach. Perhaps I'll be able to speak on stage if I start doing it and get better at it and trust myself. Perhaps I'll be better at math. Perhaps my finances will improve if I start reading books. Perhaps becomes a possibility, right? It's much more positive than I can't and I won't and it's never worked and all that other negative shit. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is super, super important. Another recommendation I have for you is that you have to make yourself a priority. You have to make yourself a priority. If you're not putting the right nutrients into your body, you're not staying hydrated every single day, you're not getting the best sleep, you're not putting supplements and nutrients into your body, like I said before about, gardening and cooking and whatnot, then how do you expect to operate at your fullest potential? If you, like I said before, if you put shitty gas in your car's still going to run, but how well is it going to run? How effective is it going to run? If you're getting 4 hours of sleep and you're using it as a martyrism, like, oh, look at how much I'm working, look at how much I'm doing. Yeah, that's stupid. At least get 6 hours of sleep. Look into supplements to help you sleep. Look into meditation apps to let you sleep. Look into all the different biohacking sleep opportunities that you have. Just the fact of not looking at your phone for an hour before you go to sleep is tremendous for the quality of sleep you get. Yes, you can sleep, but there's deep sleep, there's REM sleep, there's restorative sleep. Those are the things I'm talking about. Because can you imagine what your mindset would be like and will be like when you start paying attention to those things? Just hydration alone, it blows my mind. Let me ask you a question. You guys can chime in when we're going to be doing this live on Tuesday, but what percentage of our bodies is water? Any guess? It's a lot, something like 85%. So if you drink 2 glasses of water a day, and you drink coffee or all that other shit, and your body's not getting the hydration that it needs, your brain's not getting the fuel that it needs, guess what? You're going to be making stupid decisions. You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel tired. And what are you going to want to do? You're going to want to ignore that and go do something else. So you have to make yourself a priority. So think about what it is that you're putting into your body and the rest that you're giving your body. But more importantly, physical exercise. Just the simple act of taking a 15-minute walk briskly, getting some oxygen in your body, taking some deep breaths, expelling that carbon monoxide is super huge. I've done that with people. It's like expel to your fullest extent. Get the carbon monoxide out of your body, get some fresh oxygen in there. It wakens the brain up. You start feeling better. And when you feel better, you want to make better decisions. And it's that momentum, it's that unstoppable confidence that I talk about that you have to do and you have to make a priority. You have to drink something like, for me, I drink about 100 ounces of water a day. And when I don't do that, I notice it. So I have a big jug. I fill it up in the morning and I know that I have to drink all that water in order to perform at my optimum level. And when I don't do that, guess what? My results suck. My focus sucks. My attitude sucks. And I get bitchy and I start to go down that rabbit hole of negativity, the vicious cycle that I talked about before. But when I make that a focus and a priority and a commitment, that is just so tremendous in what I can actually achieve. Another thing is your habits, right? When you get up in the morning, what is your habit? Is your habit to grab your phone and start looking at the news or emails or other shit? Or is your habit to wake up in the morning and say, wow, let me just spend 10 minutes in gratitude. Let me just say what I'm grateful for out loud. I may not have everything I want. I may have quote unquote problems or opportunities, but when you start off with the right mindset and you put that right fuel into your brain, again, we're putting things into our brain when we first wake up. Just imagine how much better your life is going to be. And I'm not talking about Pollyanna type stuff. I'm talking about real shit. Did you wake up and your fucking eyes open? Yes. Do your feet work? Yes. Is your family safe? Yes. Do you have an automobile to get to work? Yes. Do you have a job? Yes. Do you have insurance? Yes. Did you eat last night? Yes. Are your family members alive? Yes. Do you have opportunities? Yes. Do you have the internet? Yes. All those things you start off with focus and gratitude, guess what? Your subconscious will continue to look for that for the rest of the day. But if you wake up and say, oh shit, I got to do this and this sucks and that hurts and boss is going to probably be a pain in the ass. There's probably being a lot of traffic, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here, let me turn the news on and see what's going on in the world today. All that combined. And then you don't eat breakfast and then you don't drink water and then you're tired and then you get around people. It's another thing. As far as taking care of yourself, you have to cut bait on the people in your life that are dragging you down. You guys have heard me talk about it. We're like the 5 people we're around the most. So if you're hanging around people that are piss poor and they have shitty decisions and they're miserable in their life, why are you staying around them? You need to get around a higher caliber of people who are going to hold you to a higher standard. They're going to show you the way. If I didn't get around Tammy and Bill and have those influences in my life, I would be dead or in jail. And I didn't have anybody telling me this stuff back in those days. It was just by happenstance that I've seen that. But let me tell you something. When people have taken my advice and they have cut bait on people that are leeches and drainers and people that take advantage of you and want to complain all the time, their life turns around miraculously. I have somebody who's watching this right now. I won't say her name, but she knows who she is. And she took my advice. She had to cut bait on some people in her life that were dragging her down, who didn't want her to move forward, who called her stupid, who made her feel guilty for all these different things. But she was putting herself and her son as a priority. And that was tough. That was difficult. That was challenging to make those decisions, to make those sacrifices. But guess what? What does she feel today? She feels amazing. She feels strong. Does she still have bad moments and still bad times? Yeah. But you got to think about it. Like I said before, how long did it take to develop this mindset and this belief and this pattern in your life? It's going to take time to unravel that. You have to stay in it for the long haul. But it's just another example of cutting people out of your life and getting around the right people and following that and staying consistent builds momentum. It is just super, super important. One other thing you also have to do, and this blows my mind because again, you guys heard me talk about that. We have Google, we have YouTube, we have podcasts, we have the library, we have all sorts of information at our fingertips to stay motivated and stay inspired. I was reading a book last night and it talked about Michael Jordan. It talked about Thomas Edison. It talked about Walt Disney. It talked about Lee Iacocca. It was a bunch of people, and it talked about the adversities and the shit they went through in their life that they had to overcome and ultimately create the success that they went after. I mean, think about that. So if you surround yourself and you read autobiographies all the time, or if you go on YouTube and say inspirational story, and you start your day like that, and you do that consistently for a month, 2 months, 6 months, do you think that you're not going to have different outcomes in your life? Do you not think that your possibilities and your forecast and your dreams are going to come true? There's people out there with no arms and no legs that are surfing, right? What's your excuse? It's right there. Just go on and do it. There's podcasts. I listen to 2 podcasts every single day. I listen to audiobooks. I watch videos, right? That's what I'm putting into my system. And guess what? When I don't do that, what happens? Even for me, for as old as I am, or as young as I am, it's a consistent habit that you have to do. Otherwise, you might unravel. So go out there and find who the successful people are and rip off and duplicate what it is that they're doing, because it's not a secret. It's not something that somebody is born with or is special. I've told you guys, I suffer with negativity and depression and all sorts of stuff. And just recently I had a situation. I don't know if you saw my video that I posted the other day. It's on my YouTube channel, but it was about disappointment. And it was very transparent, very authentic that I have been dealing with a lot of disappointment lately. I've had friends disappoint me. I've had people I've helped online and in person disappoint me, invested a lot of time and energy. And then all of a sudden they fucking drop me. I'm like, what happened? So I text them. What happened? What did I do? Did I piss you off? They still don't reply. But I invested hours into their future. They told me, oh my God, Chris, that thing you told me was brilliant. It's really changed my perspective. Thank you so much. And then we were in talks to do other stuff. And then all of a sudden they fucking disappear. I could just list all sorts of things. So what was I doing? I was focusing on disappointment. I was getting pissed. I was distancing myself. I was going down that rabbit hole of vicious negativity. For what? I was the one choosing it. So instead I stopped myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to take this pain and I'm going to make it mean something. And I'm going to do this video right now. And I'm going to change my perspective. And I'm going to wish those people well. And I'm going to get on with my life, because if I sit there and self-sabotage and go, poor me, and every time I trust people, something happens, and what am I going to get? I'm going to wind up doing the same shit I've always done, getting the same results. So instead of getting pissed off and getting angry with them, and even to the point of not even really investing in telling them that they've upset me, I just continue to move on. I take the higher road and I use that as fuel, as an experience to remind myself next time, maybe don't do shit for free, right? That's one of the things my coach is currently telling me right now. So, but I'm just telling you that from my heart because I go through it too. But you have to change those experiences. You have to change your perception to that. You have to look, and you guys have heard me talk about this before, your past, right? It's all electrical energy in your brain, but yet we hold on to it. We make mistakes and we beat ourselves up for it. We think about childhood experiences and we continue to have that belief and that mindset. Oh shit, see, when I was a kid, I couldn't do that. Or when I was doing this, bullshit. It's today. You have all the resources in the world. If you want to become a dancer, learn how to become a dancer. If you want to become a singer, it's all online. You could do it for free. We live in a lifetime that is so amazing right now. I told my wife this morning, I said, we live in the greatest time ever, because I think from this point forward, and this is actually negativity, I don't think the world's going to turn out so great. I think we're going to have to go through a cleansing process of a lot of different things. So I'm thinking that right now we're in the most amazing time. We have all these resources. I can connect with you right now here in my house. I have my studio. This is amazing. Do not waste that, because when you get older, you're going to look back on your life and you're going to be miserable and pissed. So what does it mean? You have to put good shit in your brain, good shit in your body. You have to stop thinking and focusing on the stuff that's not working for you. You have to change the language that you use with yourself every single day. You have to cut bait on people that are negative and dragging you down. You have to stop watching the news and comparing yourself on social media. You have to take responsibility and action on a consistent fucking basis if you want different results. Again, hoping, wishing, and praying and playing the someday game is not going to get you there, ladies and gentlemen. Being here every week, interacting with me in the Raw and Unscripted group, that's going to get you progress. Joining a group coaching program, getting a coach, getting a mentor, getting an accountability partner, doing whatever it is that to take to achieve your dreams now, that's your decision. That's not anybody else's decision. You can't blame that on anybody, but you can't blame it on your kids. You can't blame it on your husband. You can't blame it on shit. You have to look in the mirror and say, is what I'm about to do getting me closer to or further from my stated goals? And then you have to answer honestly, and you have to get the fuck on with yourself. That's what this is about. This is advice to me. Like I told you guys before, I watch these videos. I listen to the podcast again. I probably listen and watch this 3 or 4 times. God's honest truth. How many times do you watch it? Do you take notes? Do you do actions after this? Or do you get out there and go, oh, wow, that was really cool, man. He's so on fire. He's so inspiring. And then you go back to your same shit. And then you tune in next week like, oh, maybe he'll say something this week that'll stick. No, you have to take action. You have to take responsibility. And yes, it's tough and it sucks. That's no joke, but it's up to you, right? Again, have that big legacy, have that eulogy, have that big picture in mind. Think about the GPS that you program every day where you want to go somewhere. Do you think if you put in the wrong address, you would get to the wrong destination? So again, program the right destination in here, and then these and everything else will follow. All right. Hey, so I love you guys. Send me an email, Christopher@ChristopherRausch.com, or go to ChristopherRausch.com. All the links there are for the podcast, for my Instagram. Everything to connect there is right there. So I really appreciate it. We'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, throw me some love, throw me a bone, write me a review, do something. I'd really appreciate it. I'm sitting here pouring my heart out every single day or every single week, trying to make a difference in your life, making my dreams come true. But I would just appreciate a solid if you do that and throw out some words for me and share for me. I'd really appreciate that. Another thing I want to mention is that I'm going to be starting to do interviews. In my previous radio show that was on for 2.5 years, every week I interviewed somebody. You can catch that also on iTunes. If you go to my website, it's on there. The tab is radio show. 2.5 years where I interviewed somebody every single week. They gave 5 kick-ass tips for living a super life. So all of that's still great content. Yes, it's a few years old, but again, it's right there. But my point is I'm going to start interviewing folks. I want to bring experts and people who have gone through these challenges themselves, whether I've coached them or whether it's somebody that's inspired you. So I encourage you, if you think it's somebody who would be a great guest for the KICKASS Raw and Unscripted podcast, then send them my way. Send me an email, Christopher@ChristopherRausch.com. I'd appreciate it, because coming up next week, or a couple of weeks, we're going to be interviewing Shane, who is the owner and the creator of this Speaking to the Heart Network, who also is my producer and my good friend. And also I'm going to have another lady on the show. Her name's Nina Torres. You want to talk about somebody who has overcome pain and disability and frustration? Holy shit, this lady makes me feel like I'm a fucking pussy compared to her with my pain. She is brilliant. She's a good friend of mine. We've done speaking together. I'm going to bring her on this podcast. So I'm going to continue to deliver the goods for you to change your life, change your outcome, and create your dreams and create your unstoppable confidence. But it's up to you to do it. But I want you guys to be here. I love you guys so much. All right. Peace out. We'll see you next time.